Hey folks, this is going to be an unboxing of Mythic Odysseys of Theros, Brick of Many, so that's 8 boxes. Unfortunately, when I went to go and record this, I lost all of the audio as OBS did a weird thing with my mic. So what you're basically going to be watching is me originally recording the unboxing, and then you'll just have me now editing Ted in the bottom right-hand corner, just talking over it so you can see it. It actually worked out. We were able to cut out a lot of dead air time, so that worked out well. So I just wanted to say up front a big thank you to V and the WizKids team for sending these over for me to review. There'll be an Amazon affiliate link in the description if you want to go ahead and pick these up for yourself. And then also to check the description for the giveaway. I'll be giving away a limited edition copy of Mythic Odysseys of Theros, this cover, as well as a standard version. That giveaway runs till about the 14th of September, so you can check that link to see what you have to do to enter. And anyway, let's jump into the unboxing. The reason that I have myself here talking over it is because I had myself in the corner, and rather than trying to crop and pull, I thought this would be a little bit easier. So you can see this is a Nightmare. It's, as far as what it looks like, it's different than the standard Nightmare in that it doesn't have any of the fire. You can see it's got these chains on it right here. You can see it has sort of a translucent, smoke on the hooves, as well as like a little bit of red. I said there's a little bit of cracking here, and like the body type, almost like plates. And it has very little color in it, just a little like pinkish red around on the mane and a little bit on the mouth here. All in all, though, I like it. It's different. It's nice to see a different sculpt, but not my favorite. Next up, we have a Centaur mini, and this is a more of a medium-sized Centaur. So this would represent a NPC, or sorry, an NPC or PC player-based Centaur. Nothing too crazy to write home about. You can see there is some of the paint on the body here, some maybe like tattoos. But yeah, nothing too crazy on that. A little bit out of focus, but you can see you've got some kind of hair flowing in the breeze there as well. Face doesn't have a lot of definition though. This one here is called the Oracle. I guess this is just supposed to represent, an Oracle character. Not a whole lot here. Pretty standard sculpt, all things considered. So this one was called a Woe Strider, and I was a little off-put by it because of how like smushed down it is. I don't think the mini's supposed to look like that. It is a little hunched over if you look at the art. And you can see I bent it back to try to get it a little bit more to what it should probably look like. But I went and looked up the art, and you can see in its mouth it has some those are supposed to be eyeballs in the mouth. I'm not super crazy about the sculpt of this one though. So I was really excited about this box because we got a big mini, and I didn't know huge minis were actually included in this. And this one is called the Emissary of Perforos. I believe, I can't remember which god Perforos is as far as the Theros mythos is concerned. And you'll notice this is something that I bring up a lot in the original video that you don't get to hear, but you can see the kind of like clear, transparent glitter effect. I think that's to represent the like Nyxborn effect that a lot of these creatures seem to have. So that's to represent stars, but I'm not a huge, I like the creature itself is cool, but I don't really love the paint job too much. And this is something I will, again, had said multiple times, where it feels like the paint job was kind of rushed and they were just trying to blend colors together. And you can see like the purple and orange is just sort of like smushed on there. It doesn't look very cohesive. And then again, this is a theme that's running with a lot of these creatures, especially the ones that have the sort of transparent grayish glitter effects to have the stars. All in all, it's cool. It's a huge size mini. It does take up about 15 by 15 on a grid. So again, I liked it, but I'm not the paint job. Some of it just looked like, again, just kind of rushed a little, like just kind of slapped on there. Next up here, this is a captain. I'm trying to find the actual mini. This is Siona, captain of the Pileus. I think she's supposed to be like a Jason and the Argonauts type character, like a Grecian, Roman, ship captain. She's got a little bit of a cool design on the back of her for cape there. We fast forward a little bit to the next mini. This one, okay, this one here is Anthausa, a Setessan hero. You can see that's actually her scimitar is coming up. She's wielding 2 blades and it's sort of swiping upward, and that's what's making that clear effect that we just saw. And then let's see what our next mini is here. Basically, okay, this one I don't like. This is supposed to be, I think, just a human paladin, but the green just seems too much. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a green or a turquoise, but it just looks like it's too much, and her face is kind of, the face, you know, detail is a little lost, but the green just seems so out of place. I'm not a huge fan of this mini. So let's move on to our next one. I think we're into the next box. Okay, this is the Spider Queen. What is her name? Arasta of the Endless Web. Again, not a huge fan of this one. You can see all the little baby orange spiders on her back. And again, as per common in this set, you can see the transparent glittery legs that she's got. Again, it seems to be, I think all of these minis were actually cast probably in transparent clear with the glitter, and then they just painted over it. But I'm not a huge fan of like the sculpt here on the back. It just is kind of boring, you know, if you ask me. In her face, you can kind of see, I think I'm gonna lift it up and show you here, her like mandibles that she's got there on her chin. You can kind of make it out. It's not as bad when you actually get zoomed in on it, but I don't know. It just, you know, the art looks so cool, and it's just kind of sad to see the mini not be as good, in my opinion. So next up, we've got, we'll fast forward a little bit. All right, this one, there's one that looks identical to this at the end. I think this is like a returned, what is this one? Was it returned Sentry or a returned, this was a returned Palamnite is what that one was called. Doesn't look any different from a returned Sentry we're gonna find later on. Here's another example. This is a Dryad, I think, or a Naiad. A nymph naiad. And this is another example, I think, that really showcases this, what I call this bad paint quality, where it just looks like they kind of blended black and blue. Like this looks like someone that was trying to do, in my mind, something fancier, and it just didn't execute. You can see there is sort of the gray clear with the glitter, and this just the blue and the black. I don't think the blend is very good, and you'll see this kind of thing on a bunch more of these minis as we move along here. So this is another nymph here, similar thing, right? This one is the, let me see if I can find it. The Lampad nymph. And again, you can see the kind of transparent-y gray. And then this one just has green. It looks better than the other one. That blue one here, the Naiad, looks a little rough, the paint job. All right, so now we're on to our next box. This one's actually rolling around a little bit, or felt a little loose. Now this is by and far one of my favorite minis in this set, and this is the Emissary of Thassa, which Thassa is the sea god, and if you know me, I love crabs. Kingler is my favorite Pokemon. I happen to be a Cancer myself in real life, so I just love crabs in D&D and any kind of fantasy things. I like having them as pets or as enemies or NPCs. And this one I thought was really good, and it does still have the clear glittery legs like all these other things have. And if you look at the underside, you can see the legs here have the clear and the glitter, and the underside is actually clear and glittery as well. But I like the paint job, just looks really clean compared to some of those other ones that look kind of smushed on there and just kind of haphazardly done. This next one is, what is he? He is a Crowan Hoplite. So he's basically just like your Hoplite Spartan warrior type. Nothing too crazy on this sculpt. Next up we have two, oh wait, did I skip one? I think I skipped the, yeah. We had the two-headed Cerberus here. Again, kind of like a death dog, not a whole lot of detail on the sculpt. You can see there's some texture to it, but it's pretty much just all black with the yellow eyes in the mouth. Two-headed Cerberus, nothing too nuts to write home about. And this next one is another one of the nymphs. This is the Oriadnip, sort of a fire spirit. You can see he or she is very bent over, so I tried to stand it back up. This one looks a little bit better. It does have kind of the clear sparkle on the hair. And I think it's supposed to be like magma or like chunks of rock all over the body, or what these black spots are. The butt definitely kind of looks yellowish, but I gave this one a pass overall because I really like the fire effect and how it's swirling around her. I like to see more minis with that kind of effect. All right, I think we're into the next box here. All right. Yes, we are. So this one is the Catobal Pass. I don't actually know what a Catobal Pass is in like real life, but in fantasy, I know they exist. And it kind of looks like a big bull, and I really, really like the stark colors of like the striping pattern, the white and the kind of yellowy brown and the like the beige and the red. You can see the nose, it's kind of breathing. It actually has really sharp teeth that you probably can't see too well there. It's got horns. It's breathing out this pink kind of mist. And then, you know, the mane looks nice. But the only problem is, look at the tail right here. I don't know if it's supposed to look like this or there's just like smushed paint on in a bad, like poorly. But the tail kind of looks a little rough. And we can just kind of fast forward. Here's me talking about the tail. Again, not a huge fan of that. So this is a night hag. And it has almost no detail. The face is just kind of a blob, and they just cast the whole thing out of that clear, sparkly resin. And it even has like, this isn't even like sparkles. This is just like splotches of paint. I'm not a fan of this. I think it's standard Night Hag mini just looks a lot better overall. All right, next up we have a Minotaur coming up. And what was interesting with this was the color scheme. So I've never seen a Minotaur with this kind of skin color and like the red hair. Typically all Minotaur that I've seen in all fantasy are like usually black or brown, you know, just fuzzy, like a typical cow or a bull. This one though, they chose a different color for the skin and the hair. They made it red. Again, I don't know Theros that well. Maybe this is standard, or maybe Minotaurs come in a breadth of colors in that world. But that was just a little, it just kind of shocked me. I was not anticipating that. Now this one, if this is what I think it is, I'm very excited about it. Yeah, this is a Basilisk actually, which is way cooler than the D&D Basilisk, which just kind of looks like a little frog thing with a bunch of legs. This one's badass. It's got spine spikes. It's got stripes. You know, it's got these big ass horns, the green eyes. And I know in the beginning of Theros, when they're talking about the monsters, there are a lot of creatures that do exist in Theros that are in base D&D, and you might need to tweak or alter them, or they're just something you would normally see. And this Basilisk is a severe improvement over the D&D Basilisk in my mind. All right, we're into the next box here. So this one I'm not a huge fan of either. This is a Lamia. This is a Thought Render Lamia. And the face had decent detail, you could see, but this is once again cast in the gray and sparkles, and I'm not really sure what's going on with that leg. Coloration looks a little rough, and the back legs kind of look like, again, paint is just kind of like hastily put on there. You can see the face has decent detail, but I'm not really a fan of it. All right, this one, again, this is a Ghostblade Eidolon. Her dress is kind of cast in the transparent, but I think that's on her hair is supposed to be like different colors of like fire, but the blending of the paint just doesn't look good to me. It looks like it's all just kind of, again, slapped together, and I don't think I get what they're exactly trying to go for. But I don't know, it feels like it feels sloppy. Right, that's, I guess, a good word to describe the paint. Sloppy. Next up is a Nyx Fleece Ram. And now this is supposed to be like what would generate your golden fleece in a traditional Grecian thing. But what was interesting is if you look back at that, it doesn't have the sparkle or the clear with the sparkles. It's just like kind of purple. It is a little bit, if I'm holding it up to the light now, I can actually kind of see through it a little bit. But when I looked at it there, you couldn't really, and this is created from like Nyx stuff, and I feel like it didn't have the same kind of clear sparkle effect that the other minis have. This one is, this is a Leonin Swiftclaw. I probably would have gone with a different color than gold for the axe because he's already got such a yellow vibe going on. And I thought the interesting kind of like Scottish kilt thing going on here with the purple or the blue and the red was a little bit of an interesting color choice for him. All right, and then we're taking out the next one out of the box here. I think I know what this one is. This is, where are we? What do we got here? Yeah, this is the Griffin. So this Griffin is interesting because it's a standard Griffin, but it's just like fancier. You can see he's got bling there on his chest. He's got the gold with like the little straps. He's got this long purple cloak running down his back. But what I do showcase here, which I thought was really cool, is you can actually see the individual veins in the feathers on this. So this sculpt definitely had a little more care given to it. It just says Griffin on the bottom. It doesn't say like a specific named Griffin. So I don't know if this is just how Griffins are treated in Theros. They're like, you know, treated better than everybody else and they get fancy clothing and stuff. But either way, very cool. I was a big fan of that. And what do we have next? So this is the Dryad Nymph. I thought the green spots, I guess, are maybe supposed to be moss. They look a little kind of out of place, and it does have a very light amount of the transparent stuff, but it's probably one of the nicer looking nymphs that we've seen. The other one's kind of, the paint looked a little rough. I love this Medusa. Just look at that hair. It's crazy. And I really like, you can see like the actual scales of the snake lower body and like the kind of patterning they did. I think this is done very well. This is definitely one of the winners for me in this set, so I'm a fan of it. Let's move on to the next one. I think we had another two-headed Cerberus. Nothing crazy there. We can skip that. That's our first duplicate, by the way. We've been going through all of these, and I wanted to showcase what was on the box, just to say. So we have a Medusa. We got the Nymph Naiad. We got the Minotaur Fighter as well. The only one we didn't get, we didn't have so far is the Satyr Fire Dancer, and I like it because, again, I like the translucent like spell effects. Down here is Taranika, region of Akros. I don't know the scale of that, but it doesn't look too crazy. We have the Nightmare. We got the Ghostblade Eidolon. We didn't get Brimaz, King of Ereskos, or the Doomwake Giant. So, we're hoping for those in the last box. But I haven't really seen what's in it. But I can say that what we're going to get out of this one, I'm super excited about. Look at that. This is definitely one of the best minis in the set in my mind here, which is the Emissary of Erebos. And I can't remember if Erebos is like the god of the dead, or maybe the god of like the forge. But this looks like a metallic snake, almost like a snake made out of metal. And you can see he's got the purple dripping fangs and the big scales, and you can see there's actually like a little, almost looks like a jewel. I thought that was a jewel on the tail, actually, but it's not. It's just its underbelly is all painted purple, which is like a nice little detail they didn't have to do, but since they gave it a clear base, which part of the reason they're giving them clear bases now is that you can see how big they are and see the terrain underneath them. I'm a huge fan of this mini. I don't remember seeing this one in the Theros book, but I am absolutely going to look it up because this is like a prize of my collection. I love this from this particular set. I think we're going to get another duplicate here. We got another Dryad Nymph here. Nothing crazy there. So this is the returned Sentry, and we have the returned Palamnite. They look exactly the same to me. And then this is, I think, the last mini from this particular set, which is this guy. I think this is an anvil wrought raptor. So this is sort of the mechanical Hephaestus creation bird. It's like a hawk. So very cool. Big fan of this one as well. So that's it for this unboxing of Mythic Odysseys of Theros. Again, I said it at the beginning, but I'll state it again. There's a link in the description to pick these up on Amazon. It is an affiliate link, so if you do decide to pick those up, hey, it helps support the channel at the same time. Once again, a big thank you to V and the WizKids team for sending these over for my unboxing and review purposes. Clearly, the winners of this set, I think, are the Emissary of Erebos and the Emissary of Thassa, the big crab, as well as the cool Theros Basilisk. So again, thank you to my patrons for supporting the channel and continuing to support me, and I will see you all next time.